Can anybody explain to me why in 2020 it still takes you 6, 7, 8 hours just to vote?
This is Florida's own Plies.
We made it, y'all. We made it. It's been an honor to share this almost 11-hour experience with y'all.
In Georgia, these voters waited 11 hours to cast their ballots.
We're voting like our life depends on it.
But how, can somebody please explain to me, in 2020, all this advanced technology we got, all of the wonderful things that this country possesses, do we feel it's coincidental that in 2020, it still takes you 6, 7, 8, some cases 12 hours to cast your vote?
Plies is right. So how did we get here? These long lines are by design, whether in person or absentee. Let's start with the latter. If you missed it, in Texas, there's a lot going on.
There were 12 in this largely Democratic county, the other 11 forced to close after Republican Governor Greg Abbott, citing election security, limited every county to a single collection site.
Governor Greg Abbott, a MAGA kind of guy, limited a county that is the same size as the state of Rhode Island, Harris County, to one drop-off location for ballots. He did this knowing the outcome. A federal judge said the state could not limit the number of ballot drop-off locations in each county, but the state appealed this judge's decision, and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals overruled the lower court. All three judges were appointed by, you guessed it, Donald Trump. They say go out and vote. What about asking if how we vote is also structurally racist, wrote LeBron James. Again, it's all by design, and it's been in motion for years.
Now, many of our Christians have what I call the goo-goo syndrome. Good government. They want everybody to vote. I don't want everybody to vote. Elections are not won by a majority of people. They never have been from the beginning of our country, and they are not now. As a matter of fact, our leverage in the elections, quite candidly, goes up as the voting populace goes down.
That's Paul Weyrich, an outright grifter who threw everything on the wall to get evangelicals to be blowhard fans of the GOP.
They had things, levels of voting that if you ever agreed to it, you'd never have a Republican elected in this country again.
And the president just flat out admits it. Republicans have spent years attempting to make it harder, not easier to vote, especially for the minority and younger Americans who tend to lean Democratic. But don't take my word for it, take theirs.
What we're going to be able to do, if we can recruit the bodies to do it, is focus on those places, because that's where our voters are. Right, traditionally, it's always been Republicans suppressing votes in places. So let's start playing offense a little bit, and that's what you're going to see in 2020. I think it's going to be markedly different. It's going to be a much bigger program, much more aggressive program, a much better funded program.
That voice is this man, Justin Clark, a former attorney and current senior political advisor to the president. Republicans have wet dreams over images like these. Again, it is completely manufactured to crap on the American people and muzzle their right to vote. And the reason they do this is because they're just unpopular. Republicans have won the popular vote in a presidential election only once since 1992. With the re-election of George W. Bush in 2004. Here's the short history of how Republicans are empowered. In 1965, Congress passed the Voting Rights Act, which required states with histories of voter discrimination to get federal approval before changing their voting rules. In 2013, the Supreme Court threw out the criteria used to determine that pre-approval, so states can make any changes they want to their voting laws with no federal standards or oversight. So back in the day when racist white people were like, we really need to limit black people from voting and we're okay being outright racist in our wording. So what they did was this. They constructed poll taxes and literacy tests to prevent black people from voting. But guess what? It's just evolved to a modern day form. Long lines by design, my friends. In 2018, those 15 states had closed 1,688 polling places since 2012. Racism was again at play. Of the 750 sites closed in Texas, 542 were in the 50 counties that had seen the largest increases during those years of black and Latino populations. Republicans believe correctly, in most cases, that minorities and young adults disproportionately support Democrats, said Thomas Mann. Reducing their turnout works to the advantage of Republicans. One study from the University of California concluded one very clear disparity. Voters in predominantly black neighborhoods waited 29% longer on average than those in white neighborhoods.
The Republican Party is an insurgent outlier. It has become ideologically extreme, scornful of compromise, and dismissive of the legitimacy of its political opposition. The Democratic Party, while no paragon of civic virtue, is more open to incremental changes, fashioned through bargaining with the Republicans. This asymmetry constitutes a huge obstacle to effective governance.
Supplies. Why are there long lines? Modern day racism.